Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Intuitive Activist Podcast. I'm Leilani, your host, and today we are joined with the brilliant Rowana Abbensetts-Dobson. Rowana is a Guyanese-American writer, a mental health advocate, and founder of Spoken Black Girl, a publishing and media company that promotes mental health and wellness among Black women and women of color by amplifying emerging voices. She has had fiction and poetry published in Moko Magazine, Obsidian, Literature and Arts in the African Diaspora, Cultural Push, and Free Verse Magazine. She's a freelance health and wellness writer and currently is in the process of publishing her first ever book, Departure Story, which drops June 1st. Y'all go pre-order that. It's going to be so good. So good. So for now, I invite you, as always, to find your cozy spot, grab your cup of tea, perhaps put on your walking shoes, and join us for this brilliant conversation with my good friend, Rowana Abbensetts-Dobson. Rowana, my dear friend, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Leilani.
Oh my gosh, I am enchanted right now. I'm enchanted by your energy, and we just completed a grounding exercise where Rowana's ancestors came forward to fill her up, but I was kind of like by osmosis getting filled. I'm like, give me a little bit of that, and it was just beautiful. And I am just so grateful you're here. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Thank you for saying yes.
I was just so happy that this vision that you had finally came to life, because you've been talking about this for the past year or so, and to see it actually, come into existence, and now I'm here and I get to share, and it's just all beautiful, divine timing.
I feel so calm right now. And I feel like that is you emit this peaceful calm into the world. And I'm just so grateful that I get to share it with others, with the world. Before we dive into this, what I am sure will be an incredibly ethereal conversation, tell us a little bit, Rowana, who are you? What is your big work in the world? And how do you source from your intuition to complete that work?
Okay, so who are you? Is a very big question. More and more these days, I try to think of myself as a spiritual being having a human experience. You know what I mean? Because it changes day to day. I'm honoring different parts of myself day to day. Really, even like within my profession and my art, I used to just kind of say, I'm a writer. But then over the past year or so, I've realized I'm so many things, even professionally, being a publisher, being an editor, being an entrepreneur, someone, with a particular vision for what I want to see in the world, and just sharing that with other people. But I mean, then we have the more like worldly identities, I am a Black woman, proud Black woman. I am really tall.
I didn't even know that because we've only met on the interwebs.
So I'm from Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, New York. Woo woo. And I'm the daughter of immigrants. My parents immigrated to this country from Guyana, which is in South America. And And I was born right here. Well, not right here anymore. Now I'm in Atlanta, but I was born in Brooklyn. So I recently moved. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, oh gosh, I love what you said. And I've heard that. I've heard you say that before. I'm a spiritual being living a human existence. So tell us what that means in terms of, because you are an activist. I mean, it is so clearly true. So how does your intuition play into that? And then we want to hear all the tea about your book when it's coming out. We want to hear all about Spoken Black Girl, but like, tell me a little bit about how your intuition plays into all of this.
My intuition. I think over the years, I've been learning how to trust my intuition more and more. And now it's just to the point where every time I go against my intuition, I'm just like, oh, you knew this was not the way to go.
So many stories. We could just spend a whole podcast on us not paying attention to our intuition and being like, well, that didn't fucking work, did it?
It's like, that's what you get. Like, you need to listen to your inner voice. And just, sometimes it's even deeper than that. It's, feeling it out. Like, how is your body feeling? What energy are you receiving from this person or this situation or this opportunity? And is it something that's really in alignment with you? So, I mean, in that way, I've been getting better and better at it over the years of kind of like knowing when it's time to speak, knowing when it's time to engage, especially, oftentimes I'm talking about issues around racism, sexism, misogynoir, homophobia, all of these really traumatizing topics. And as a mental health advocate, it's my job to engage in that. But I really, really had to learn self-care. And I'm still getting the science of it down, but it became just necessary. And now, I feel like I'm a lot less hard on myself when it's like, okay, I feel like I need to rest. Or I feel like I need to spoil myself a little bit, or, do something self-indulgent, or just have this time alone. Like, I'm a mom. Oh, that's a big one that I didn't
left
mention.
out.
I'm a mom.
That's okay.
I have, letting go of the mom guilt. I have, because she's her own person completely as well. Like, if you even see pictures of my Simone, she has come here to like teach me some lessons, and I've grown so much ever since she came into my life. So, but even with that, I had to learn how to take time to myself or still have me time, even if she doesn't like it because she wants to be with me all the time. But, ultimately that's going to make me better for her. So that has been a huge leg in this journey. It's just, and she just teaches me, to continue enjoying life, because she's always like, for the most part, happy and upbeat and, wanting to try new things. And I'm kind of the same way. So it works out.
And something that you said, it's so counterintuitive, especially in our culture, especially as women of color, and especially as a Black woman, I would imagine that taking care of ourselves actually puts us in better service to others, especially our children. And especially with the big work we do as activists, it's paramount. And I think that we are in a culture where burnout mode is almost like revered. Like, oh, I'm so busy. And luckily, I think COVID has shifted that a little bit. And I guess, what was the process from which you went from, because you are busy. I know you're busy because I watch everything you do. And you went from this space of just like probably near burnout, I would imagine, because of all of the things you were doing. And here you are now in this counterintuitive I need to take care of myself so that I can take care of the rest of everything I need to do. What was that process in between like?
Okay, sure. Let's see. I won't pretend that I'm like the burnout expert.
That's okay.
Although like I have written like a blog post about specifically the differences between depression and burnout, because I think that oftentimes the two can mimic each other.
Absolutely.
I mean, burnout, sometimes you feel like you can keep going and you keep pushing yourself, keep pushing yourself. There's a part of it that has to do with fear of like, if I stop going, will my life fall apart? Will my job be at risk? Like, that is the whole hustle culture that we live in. And for a lot of people, like, that's very real.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's important to acknowledge that, like, it's a cutthroat world out there, like, and a lot of people are working really hard to put food on the table for their family. And I understand that. And I never want, the self-care conversation to exclude that or make it seem like that's not a reality, because it definitely is. And I think that's where sometimes people get into the discussion of like, is self-care selfish, or it seems like very self-indulgent. But what I would say is that, on the other side of that fear and anxiety, there is always a way to create your life the way that you want to create it. And you can get closer and closer to that. I'm not going to say everything will be completely different overnight, but you can, with the power of intention, I would say, like, affirming yourself and believing in yourself and also putting in the work, but wisely, there is always a way to create something new for yourself. So I would say, even when it comes to the differences, like for me, the differences between depression and burnout, I was diagnosed at a young age, I mean, as a teenager, with depression. And since then, I've kind of grown to not let it define me completely, or, not to identify too closely with it, because I think that that's something that can also come up when you're talking about mental health. You are not any one thing. And I think that's kind of goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. And I think that's important to remember just throughout our mental health journeys and just our healing journeys in general. But it's also important to know your body. Like for me, even in the past couple of days, like, I had been doing a lot of Instagram lives, a lot of like posting online, and that was like energy draining to me. Although I really enjoy engaging with my audience and doing that, it can be very draining. So then yesterday I was like wiped out and I was feeling just kind of low energy. And I was doing the things, one thing I think that another misconception about self-care is that, like, if you are doing the work, or if you are practicing self-care in different ways, that you're supposed to just be good all of the time.
Yeah, that's not
exactly.
It's not
No,
even
no,
possible. And that keeps us out of trying. That keeps us out of, to your point, like setting the intentions to take care of ourselves, because why would we even set an intention if we know we're going to fail?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's always having that positive mindset, like, I can do this, I can achieve this.
Mm-hmm.
The world is not going to stop if I rest and take care of myself. Everything is still going to be okay.
Absolutely.
Even with my daughter, I just want to model that example of, like, mommy does things that show that she loves herself.
Mm-hmm.
she takes care of herself, and raise her to be confident in that way that I didn't get until like much later in life.
And that's you breaking that cycle, breaking the
Yeah.
cycle of our worth is defined by the ability to burn out or just like overwork ourselves. And I mean, also as a child of immigrants myself, I know that that's a big part of it too, is like seeing our parents work so hard to survive. And then
Yes.
and then being in this life that I feel so blessed and grateful to be in now, that I get to make choices to thrive and I get to break that cycle for my son. Right. And so it's beautiful when I think of like the arc of, you know, because I'm tied to your energy, and you know that because we did the grounding exercise, but to see your ancestors, see your parents, and then see you like creating this beautiful life for your daughter and instilling her with a sense of worthiness and that she doesn't have to hustle to be worthy. It's amazing.
Yes. And it even links back. Okay, so now I'll do my book promo. It really links back to my story, Departure Story, that is coming out this June.
Oh my gosh.
And it's also kind of a multi-generational story, or at least like there's the story of the main character, Celestine, and then there's her relationship with her mother, her relationship with her aunt, her relationship with her sister. And you can see, you know, the opportunities that what one was given, what one wasn't given, what people were able to make of their lives, like depending on circumstances. And you can really see the development of, you know, generations. And, you know, every day I spend time by my altar space, and I have pictures of my grandmothers and my aunts and just even my, you know, presently living like female relatives, just people that I love. I try to connect to that divine feminine energy. And, you know, I know that they've got my back and that everything, you know, that they've done over the years has like brought me to this point. So, and yeah, you look like, okay, I'm getting a little teared up too, but
it's beautiful because I'm just like sitting here in this space of just reverence for just how expansive your viewpoint is. It's like this moment in time is not about Rowana. It's about everyone that came before and everyone that's going to come after her. And so it just like hearing you talk about your book, I'm just filled with like sensation and goosebumps because it's so expansive. I haven't read it, y'all. I wish I had. It's on pre-order. I'm like counting down the days until June, you know, for it to drop. But it just like the energy of it, I can feel it, and it's beautiful. It's infinite.
Aww.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you like it. I'm like getting really nervous.
Start over.
Now.
I'm gonna love it because you are brilliant. And your story, and I know this is a fiction technically, right? And so, but you infuse so much of yourself in everything you do. I have no doubt that it'll be exactly that.
Well, I guess I should kind of like give like a warning before.
Okay.
It's more like there's definitely a lot of me in the book, especially the main character, Celestine, you know, but I kind of, depending on how well you know me or what circumstances you know me from, you know, some things, it's like kind of like two truths and a lie.
I love that so much.
Yeah. And a lot of the scenarios in the book, like not all of them happen to me. Some of them happen to women I know, or, you know, just things I've observed like over my life. So, and I still have more, and I'm like writing the second part to this novel now. So, yeah, I mean, so you'll see. I think it'll be potentially a little bit triggering for some people, but
my book too.
I mean,
Samesies. That's just what we do.
But I think I really wanted to just have people think about the characters, think about the different situations, and why things turn out the way they do. So hopefully, well, I hope that you really like it. Yeah, that you love it. I hope.
Sure, I will. I'm looking at myself in the future with my jaw on the ground, I know her that wrote this, and this is beautiful. So, Spoken Black Girl. Tell us about Spoken Black Girl, how it came about, your publisher, what does it mean to you? Tell us a little bit about that work you do.
Okay, so Spoken Black Girl started maybe 2 years after I graduated from college, and I was just interested in blogging. Throughout my entire life, I've always been attracted to newspapers and magazines and journals, and I wrote and edited for a lot of journals, whether it was at school or wherever. I don't know where I picked up this interest.
I mean, it's part of you. It's not it's part of your fabric, your fiber, your makeup.
So yeah, that was just kind of always me. But Spoken Black Girl specifically, I started because I wanted to talk about mental health and what it was like for me as a Black woman to, deal with different mental health issues, and specifically, what it was like to seek care, how to find a therapist. That was really big, especially when I first started. It's still relevant, but I felt like the information just wasn't out there and those conversations weren't being had. This is maybe 2015 or so. So now it's mental health is it, everyone's mental health.
It's, I mean, COVID, how do you even get away from mental health in COVID?
How do you? Yeah. You can't, people are stuck at home with nothing but their own imaginations.
It's a scary place sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So over the years, I just started wanting to publish the stories of other women, and because I realized, I was wait, I know what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to tell stories that will enlighten, empower, and inform, but I don't have all of the stories, right? I only have a very limited experience from what I've seen in my walk of life. So I wanted to get other people, and I just started doing that on my website. And then one year, I think, 2016, I just decided hey, maybe we can try to print this. So then we did the first print magazine, and then we did the second last year, and now the third is coming out in May. So very soon. Yeah. Cover reveal coming soon. Yeah.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Just incredible. And definitely, as you talk about Spoken Black Girl, I also think of this quote that you recently published around your book coming out. And you said, I hope this book will make a Black girl reading white male authors in her American lit class feel seen. And so what is coming to me as you describe your work with Spoken Black Girl, as you describe your book, is this notion of helping Black girls feel seen and feel as though, I guess the question that's coming through, and this is channeled right now, is for the little Black girl in her honors English classes who feels I think I'm an author, but I'm afraid. What do you say to her? What do you want to say to her right now?
I feel so pressured on the spot. I mean, so many things come to mind. First I was a little brutal. I was feel the fear and do it anyway. But then I was it takes time to develop.
Yeah.
And I'm not even at, I feel I'm publishing my first novel. I am. So I'm not the old wizened author yet. But I would say, it's possible, I guess. It's possible, and you will make a way. And if it's really what your heart's intention is, you will make a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a big part of why I do what I do. Is it's just I think it's important in terms of representation to just have people see me being me, and that we exist. Like, there have been so many times over the years where I just wonder, like, where is the diversity on this, reading list? Where is where are the authors of color? Like, we don't know. A lot of the time, that was the case in like mainstream publishing and a lot of settings and scenarios. Or I would get the situation of using Black or POC authors, but the editorial staff behind it is not really POC. And I mean, I think
like cherry picking, like the experiences of stories, like, oh, it can't be too triggering. It has to, yeah. So it's kind of like it's like our whitewashed version. It's a whitewashed version of us.
And hence my interest in publishing. And one of the things that I want POC authors to understand, specifically, I speak to the Black women authors to understand, but really everyone that's externalizing their power in different ways. It's a lot. Our stories are so powerful. Our stories are so just powerful, magical, amazing. Our voices are, amazing. The fact that, the representation isn't necessarily there is not at all a reflection of the talent that's out there. No. But sometimes it's very tempting. And I myself have done this because I'm a working writer, and you can't always choose the publication or like, especially if it's down to like, this is my career and I'm trying to make a paycheck. But at the same time, be careful who you're selling your stories to, and how they're choosing them and why, and how it's being treated behind the scenes. Like, you hear stories of like mainstream publishing in different meetings, and just kind of like different disrespectful things about how they will like treat Black authors or our work. And so I wanted to be a space where authors could come and be treated with dignity, and just really have their story understood. I mean, at least if I give you a critique, it's not going to be coming from a racist place. It's just going to be coming from it is what it is. Make these edits space.
Yeah, it's the safe space. That's what I'm hearing. You create conditions for Black authors specifically to have a safe space to tell their stories.
Yes.
I was getting so emotional as you were talking, and I can't even pinpoint which part of it. You embody this yearning for Black authors, specifically Black writers, to have a place to belong in this world. Like that doesn't exist, not in the ways that would create like dignity and respect and actually treat your stories as sacred, because they are.
Yes.
And to be able to witness your process in doing that, and your purpose. I mean, like I said, it's your fabric. It's how you're built. It's how Source created you, is to have this tenacious, unapologetic at times, but just this mode of activism, which is centered in healing and belonging, which just feels like who you are, like this paradox. Even talking to the little Black girl in her AP English class or English lit, and to be like, lean into the fear anyway and take good care of yourself. Yes. It's like go forth, dear one. And also like be gentle and know, set the, like, it's this like gentle, this gentle, no bullshit, like I love that about you.
Aw.
And I love that it's just like coming through in this interview. It's beautiful.
I just do my best to just show up and just try to be myself and talk about what I believe in. And I'm just glad to be with you and that you are receiving. And I hope like the listeners are enjoying as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. So tell me, I mean, you have some big things coming on the horizon. How are you prepared? Like, how do you even prepare for, and this is me selfish, like, how do you prepare for a book release? Cause I'm gonna be about a month behind you. Like what is on your radar?
Yes.
What is on your heart? Like what's coming through right now?
So this is actually going to be helpful to me too, because I'll just go down my to-do list. But right now, let's see, I'm getting in touch with a lot of people to do different press about the book. So, our podcast recording is right on time, right?
Yay.
I'm doing a lot.
Yeah, you are. You really are.
I'm just trying to have different engagements and just be out there a little bit more. Just giving glimpses into the process, giving glimpses into the book has been like one of my favorite parts. And I have more of that to come. So I think, as a creative, however best you create, just do that, like, but about your book. I guess that's my book marketing advice.
Yeah, I hear that as being, and it's something that I've been really trying to lean into myself is the more I choose to be in this life rather than the doing, right? Because I've been a doer, I've been a hustler my whole life up until about a year ago when I was like, I can't, I'm done with the hustle and I just want to be. And as I'm realizing that about myself, that I just want to be, I'm fine. I even thought this in my run this morning is like, I'm actually like a creator. Like I am a creative, I'm a creator. And so what do you say to people like me? This feels so selfish, but what do you say to people like me who are leaning into like, I am a creator, I'm a creative, and that's my way of being in this world. Like, what do you say to us who are just like right on the edge of just like jumping into that? Because you have been swimming in it for so long.
Have I? I'm glad it appears so.
You are.
Yeah, continue letting yourself be and finding, you know how to unlock you, right? Everyone does. And I feel like that has just been one of the truest things that I've seen throughout my life, because even being in this space, it kind of goes into like the self-help space a little bit.
Right.
And you realize that there's no amount of self-help or tips that you can give anyone to like make them change their life or whatever. But what you can do is like affirm someone starting a good habit, which is why it's so important to like be in community. Because say like just now, like you were talking and you were like, I went on my run this morning, and I was like, cool, I went on a run this morning too. Now I feel like we were running together.
We probably
together
were.
would be like
I
running
was thinking
buddies.
about you.
And exactly. But I think that's part of, I think, what self-help is supposed to be, is it's just like, here, this is what I'm doing. Here are all the tips that I'm doing and like how I do it. And then, other people can get inspired off of that. And they're like, okay, I'm going to stick with this and, continue. Yeah, you have the keys to you. I think that's the main point. So whatever you do most naturally, even if it's like this podcast,
I love
can start.
It's so fun.
It just fits you so well. Like I could not like believe when you were like, oh, I've only been like, dipping my toe in the creative pool for like a year. So I'm like, Leilani, you like belong here, girl.
Thank you. That makes me feel so warm. And what I hear really strongly coming through and what you just said is, well, we ourselves and me as Leilani, I'm the only one who knows what being a creative walking this earth. And I would even venture to say a spiritual creative walking this earth.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who can unlock that. I'm the only one who knows exactly what that looks like. And being in connection, this is B, and being in connection and being in community with others, almost to reflect things back. It's less about, I definitely hear like, hey, how about just almost like a hype person in the background, like, yeah, like that intention. And my friend Anika, who was on several episodes back, she and I are like each other's hype women, like seeing like, oh, I see you trying to get better sleep. I'm gonna keep holding you accountable to that. And like, that's what I kind of hear is being willing to unlock that for yourself and being in community with people who understand the importance of what you're doing and continue to affirm that, continue to stay in connection and to remind you of what you're saying is important. So now, I'm like, I want to walk this earth as a spiritual creative, and you're going to call me or you're going to text me in a week and be like, how's that going? Like, how is that going, Leilani? Because you said that out loud. So I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
That is how we grow. It's part of how we grow. I believe that.
Oh my gosh. And I just keep hearing connection and community. And even as you described your book, The Two Truths and a Lie, which I love that you called it that. But you said you kind of are borrowing others' experiences and stories, and obviously not quote unquote plagiarizing it, but to say, like, I'm holding your story sacred and I want you to have voice because I have voice, right? Mm-hmm. And so tell me a little bit more about the role that being in connection, being in community plays in your creative process, because I'm just enchanted by that.
I think that my community definitely gives me life. Like at times when I feel like I want to give up, I can think back to last summer when I was publishing issue 2, Resilience of Spoken Black Girl. And it was one of those situations where, the pandemic had just like really, we realized that this was like serious and here to stay for a bit. And, my business was taking a hard hit, like, because I was usually doing like speaking engagements and, even and workshops and things like that. And then even like client work. A lot of businesses were, in that same shock mode. So I had no idea how I was going to get that magazine out, like in terms of printing costs, in terms of like, there are so many, publishing is a very expensive business, which I feel like I didn't realize, and a lot of people don't realize. Printing costs, like there are so many creatives involved in the process, like, different levels of editors and designers and so many, it's like a giant puzzle and like so many pieces to put together. And I had no idea how it was going to happen. And I was doing a GoFundMe campaign, and Leilani, you donated to the GoFundMe. And I know she's like, don't say anything. I will. It's okay. But yeah, I did the GoFundMe, and so many people donated to the GoFundMe, and it was just beautiful. Like the community actually really literally like brought that magazine to life. And then this go around, I was able to secure a grant. So like, you guys lifted me to be able to get to the place where I could do that. So I'm extremely like I have a very just strong emotional connection to my community, like so, and it just it's made up of so many people like you, and I'm thinking of like Daniel from Decast Music, who's like this amazing guitarist and vocalist who he donated his album proceeds to Spoken Black Girl.
My gosh.
And that helped get the magazine printed, like things like that. Like I have my friend Imelda at Pray With Our Feet and Women Creatives Chat, and she is just a powerhouse. And she has been so just really having my back, like through good times and bad. So, I mean, even I'm getting emotional talking about all of this because, like, it's just like, wow, like people who really, these are not blood relatives of mine. Like, blood relatives are like less interested in what's happening with me than like
come on,
actual,
y'all.
like these people I've met. That's like spiritual family. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I just got goosebumps when you said spiritual family. And what I also heard in that is not one person alone has lifted you up. It's like literally, I see just like tons of people, just everyone has like a finger, that's like, and that is what we need. And we go through seasons where we're the ones that need to be lifted and where we're the ones that are doing the lifting. And just this notion of like, we have each other and we need each other and we belong to one another is just feeling really powerful as you're describing that.
Yes. I love that. I love that.
Oh my gosh. I like never want you to leave me. I want to keep this conversation going, and maybe we'll come back for part 2 after your book has dropped and we get to hear all about all the things. I see you with like your center shades and you're like totally like in your private jet. I'm manifesting this life for you. Oh
my gosh.
Well, before we go to like the last kind of fun question, what is on your heart? What needs to be said in order for you to feel as though you said your piece here today?
So, justice. There was a young lady named Makaya who was murdered by the police. And we need justice for Black women. And that includes all Black people. So that's queer, trans, everyone who is subject to this violence. I stand with, my brothers and sisters in the Asian American community. And I stand with Indigenous communities who are protecting this land with their lives. And I don't want anyone to forget that for even a single day. And I think that's important. Those are things that I try to think about every day. I don't let it consume me, but I let it fuel my work and my purpose. Like, I have a niece named Michaela. Names are so close.
I have a niece named Michaela.
Oh my goodness. Exactly. It's like, this can't be it, So yeah, I say that as my daughter wakes up.
Hi, sweet one. Well, what I just want to share, what came forward is this beautiful image of like all of us holding you up, right? And your community, but also underneath that with wings, Micaiah, George Floyd, they're also giving you voice. That's what I'm sensing right now, is that you are also a voice for the voiceless. And I again, I'm filled with goosebumps because I've been revealed that as well, that I'm a voice for the voiceless. And it's an honor. And it's something you said, like, it can't consume me. But if you remember that these beautiful souls are holding you up with their wings outstretched, their angel wings, and just knowing that we can never stop. We can never stop being the voice for the voiceless. And we're always going to say yes to that.
Yes.
I love you so much, Rowana.
Oh,
like, you're seriously like, so the silly question that feels so silly now to like end with this, but maybe not. What's your bumper sticker? What, like, if you had like a little stamp that you put on all over the world, what's your bumper sticker, Rowana?
That's a hard one. I don't know, Leilani.
I hear a message. I hear something coming through, and I'm wondering.
What do you hear coming through?
Do it anyway.
Do it anyway. I feel like I'm like a new Nike representative.
Well, I hear like, see the fear, like see the fear and do it anyway. That's what I keep hearing is like the little Black girl that is an author in her bones. See the fear and do it anyway. And it feels like it's not as harsh as I think it's not as harsh as you think it is, because it's just acknowledging her divinity, right?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to write your bumper sticker for you, but that's what came through.
I love that bumper sticker. Like I just started designing a bumper sticker in my mind when you did that. I'm like,
ooh.
I don't know. I like spoken Black girl everything. So
yes.
I put like, I'm really into like developing the merch and just putting spoken Black girl on different things.
So you had too many bumper stickers that came forward.
I had like a surge of different.
Oh my gosh.
And then some of them were like live, laugh, love. I'm like, no, that's corny.
Well, I love it. And I can't wait to buy all the bumper stickers and put them all over my car. So, oh my gosh, tell the people how they can get a hold of you. Where are you? What socials? What's your handle?
Sure. So you can follow on Instagram at Spoken Black Girl. That's my favorite platform, with most of my, most awesome friends. But we're at Spoken Black Girl everywhere, on Twitter, you can add me on LinkedIn if you want, Rowana Abbensetts-Dobson on LinkedIn. And and spokenblackgirl.com, and please order Departure Story. Please pre-order it.
Yes, y'all get on that.
And we'll be having like several events coming up. Yes, virtual events, one in-person book signing, and probably more
in Atlanta. Are you going to New York too?
Yes. Okay. In Atlanta for now. Yeah. We'll see where the summer takes me.
Oh my gosh. So I'm coming to Atlanta for a book signing as well.
Yes.
I'm totally manifesting my book tour. I'm like, these people aren't going to know who the hell I am, but I'm showing up and I'm signing some books.
You better do it.
I'm coming to Atlanta, so I'm going to come say hi.
Yes, I would love that, Leilani. You already know.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for this like beautiful, peaceful, calming conversation. Thank you for affirming me in so many ways. And thank you for just walking this earth as you do.
Thank you for having me in this space. Yes. Just to feel so comfortable and enough is really good.
Oh my gosh. You are more than enough, dear one. We love you, and you're so important to all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Leilani.
Oh my goodness, friends. Thank you so much for joining us for that conversation. As I think back on all of the brilliant takeaways that I have from being with Rowana, I think the one that is really sticking out the most is just the arc of generational healing. When we think of all of the generations that came before us and the generations that are coming after us, and what we can do to interrupt cycles of trauma and create cycles of healing. And it's just so expansive when I think about the conversation that we had and the ways that we have to interrupt that cycle and what choices we can make to do so. I also am thinking about just all of the ways that Rowana moves through this earth and does things that actively interrupt cycles of oppression, and all of the work that she does to ensure that she is moving through this world with intention. It's just everything that I aspire to be, and I do hope you found some inspiration in her incredible story as well. Go to her website, pre-order her book, Departure Story. I am so excited. I cannot even tell you. I think it's going to be incredible. Find her on all the socials at Spoken Black Girl. And if you have any feedback about this episode, I would love to hear from you, or just connect. Y'all love to connect. I'm on all the socials at Shaman Leilani. But for now, be still, my friends, and live into your impact. So grateful to talk to you today. I'll chat with you soon.